Five Nights at Freddy's 2. The game that didn't just follow in the footsteps of its predecessor, it redefined fear itself. When the first game burst onto the scene, it was an unexpected hit, a pioneer of tension, dread, and a new breed of horror. But FNAF 2, it took what we thought we knew about terror and twisted it into something far more disturbing. Gone are the simple days of a small enclosed office with doors to protect you. Instead, you're thrust into an open, sprawling room, surrounded on all sides by threats. Threats that can come in more shapes and forms than ever before. The safety net of security doors are ripped away. In its place, a mask that offers only fleeting hope and a flashlight that flickers in the face of relentless danger. This is more than a sequel, it's a masterclass in horror. Today, we're not just revisiting FNAF 2, we're deep diving into the very elements that makes this game one of the most terrifying experiences in modern gaming. So I welcome you to the Five Nights at Freddy's Retrospective. When Five Nights at Freddy's first introduced us to the world of animatronic nightmares, it did so with a simple yet effective formula. A small confined space where every creak of a door or flicker of a light could mean the difference between life and death. But when FNAF 2 rolled around, the rules of the game changed. No more doors, no more hiding, you're exposed, vulnerable, and constantly on edge. The safety net you relied on? Gone. This time, the game isn't about keeping threats out. It's about managing the ones that are already inside. The sense of claustrophobia from the first game is replaced by something even more insidious. A relentless awareness that danger can come from any direction at any time. The wide open space doesn't make you feel safe, it makes you feel exposed, as if the animatronics are circling, watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And then there's the animatronics themselves. In FNAF 1, they were eerie, unsettling, certainly enough to haunt your dreams. But in FNAF 2, Scott Cawthon turned up the dial to 11. The toy animatronics might seem less intimidating at first glance, with their bright colors and cheerful expressions, but don't be fooled. Their exaggerated innocence makes their sudden, violent attacks even more jarring, a twisted mockery of what should be safe and friendly. And then there are the withered animatronics. Nightmarish, broken remnants of the past, lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce. With their decaying exteriors and hollow eyes, they are physical embodiments of fear, a constant reminder that this world is filled with things far more sinister than just malfunctioning robots. Each encounter with these horrors isn't just a jump scare, it's a visceral reminder that something went terribly wrong here, something that can never be fixed. But it's not just the animatronics or the setting that ratchets up the fear, it's the way you interact with this world. In FNAF 1, the cameras were a lifeline, giving you a brief reprieve to see where danger is lurking. In FNAF 2, they're a double-edged sword. Sure, they let you see what's coming, but they also remind you of just how little control you really have. Every second spent checking on the cameras is a second closer to something slipping through your cracks. A second closer to your demise. The game forces you to multitask, to keep track of multiple threats at once, with no room for error. The Puppet, Foxy, Balloon Boy, they all demand your attention, pulling you in different directions, testing your nerves and your reflexes. All the while, the clock ticks on, slowly, agonizingly, towards 6 a.m. FNAF 2 didn't just evolve the gameplay, it evolved the fear. It took the simple, effective formula of the original and layered on more complexity, more tension, and more terror. It's not just about surviving the night, it's about surviving the onslaught of horrors that come at you from every angle, all at once. And this is only the beginning. As we delve deeper into the mechanics, the story, and the design of FNAF 2, we'll uncover why this game continues to haunt players, even years after its release. Survival horror games often rely on a delicate balance between power and vulnerability, giving the player just enough control to feel like they can survive, but never so much that they feel truly safe. FNAF 1 mastered this with its simple yet terrifying mechanics, but FNAF 2, it stripped away what little comfort we had left and introduced new layers of anxiety that keep you on the edge of your seat from the moment you hit new game. One of the most significant changes in FNAF 2 is the removal of security doors. In the first game, the doors were your last line of defense, a barrier between you and the horrors lurking just outside. But in FNAF 2, Scott Cawthon took them away, leaving you with nothing but a Freddy Fazbear mask and a flashlight to protect yourself. The mask, a deceptively simple mechanic, forces you to confront the animatronics head-on, quite literally, putting you face to face with your worst fears. And it's not just a matter of wearing the mask, it's about knowing when to use it. Because if you're too slow... Where is he? Off! Oh, put your mask on! Fuck! It's game over. The mask creates a false sense of security. While you're wearing it, you're safe. But the moment you take it off, you're vulnerable again. It's a mechanic that preys on your instincts, forcing you to make split-second decisions under pressure, with the knowledge that one mistake could be your last. Then there's the flashlight, a tool that, at first glance, seems like a step down from the security doors of the first game, but in reality it's one of the most critical and most nerve-wracking mechanics in FNAF 2. The flashlight is your only way to keep Foxy at bay, your only defense against the darkness that threatens to consume you. But it's not infinite. You can't just leave it on and hope for the best. Every flick of the switch drains its battery. Every pulse of light a gamble with your survival. And if you think you can just ignore the vents, think again. The animatronics are more cunning this time, more relentless in their pursuit. They don't just come at you from the hallway, they'll crawl through the air vents, slipping into your office when you least expect it. The vents add a whole new dimension of dread, forcing you to constantly check, constantly listen for the faint sound of something, or someone creeping closer. But perhaps the most anxiety-inducing mechanic in FNAF 2 is the music box.
Oh, I'm a Snurvenburgle! Snurvenburgle! Snurgs!
The puppet is a constant, looming threat, a timer that's always counting down to your doom. The moment you let that music stop, it's over. But here's the catch. While you're winding the music box, you're vulnerable. Your attention is split. Your focus divided between managing the puppet and keeping an eye on other threats. It's a balancing act that requires nerves of steel and the ability to think 10 steps ahead. Because in FNAF 2, there's always something lurking in the shadows, waiting for you to slip up. This is the genius of FNAF 2. The game doesn't just throw more animatronics at you, it throws more mechanics, more decisions, more ways to fail. It's a game that tests not only your reflexes, but your ability to manage chaos. Every moment is a battle against the clock, a struggle to stay one step ahead of the nightmares that surround you. And as the nights wear on, the tension only increases, pushing you to your limits and beyond. But the mechanics are just one piece of the puzzle. What truly sets FNAF 2 apart is the story that lurks beneath the surface, the dark and twisted tale that unfolds as you dig deeper into the game. In the next part of our retrospective, we'll explore the psychological horror of FNAF 2, and how its hidden lore and disturbing implications make it one of the most unsettling entries in the series. FNAF 2 isn't just a game about surviving the night, it's a game that burrows into your mind, planting the seeds of unease that linger long after you've turned off the screen. Beneath the jump scares and animatronics, there lies a narrative that's far more disturbing. A tale of tragedy, loss, and the darkness that hides in plain sight. At the heart of this psychological horror is the puppet, a silent, ever-present figure that embodies the game's darkest themes. Unlike the other animatronics, the puppet doesn't just attack randomly. It's drawn to the music box, a symbol of innocence and childhood. Yet its presence is anything but comforting. The puppet's very existence is tied to a tragic past, one that's hinted at but never fully explained. A mystery that haunts the game and its players alike. The Give Gifts, Give Life minigame is one of FNAF 2's most haunting moments, a brief glimpse into the puppet's twisted purpose, as you guide the puppet through the darkness, delivering gifts to the lifeless bodies of children. There's an underlying sense of dread. What should be an act of kindness becomes something more sinister, as the game forces you to confront the idea that these animatronics aren't just machines, they're vessels cursed with the souls of the lost and the forgotten. The animatronics in FNAF 2 are more than just enemies, they're symbols of a corrupted innocence. Their cheerful exteriors mask a deep underlying horror. The game's lore suggests that these once beloved mascots have been possessed by the spirits of murdered children, turning what should be a place of joy into a nightmare. In this duality, this contrast between what the animatronics are supposed to represent and what they've become, that creates a profound sense of unease. FNAF 2 also delves deeper into the lore surrounding the mysterious murders that plagued the pizzeria's history. The Save the minigame, which is on screen right now, is a chilling reminder that something terrible happened here, something that can't be undone. As you guide Freddy through the pizzeria, the oppressive atmosphere grows thicker, culminating in a brief, horrifying encounter with the figure of a man who was implied to be the one behind the tragic events that led to the children's deaths. Then there are cryptic messages, the subtle hints that something far darker is at play. It's me. These words flash across the screen, leaving the player to wonder who, or what, is trying to communicate. Is it a warning, a cry for help, or something more malevolent? The game never provides clear answers, and that's what makes it so effective. It's the ambiguity, the uncertainty that digs into your psyche, making you question everything you see and hear. FNAF 2 isn't just about surviving the night, it's about surviving the psychological toll of what you've witnessed. The animatronics, the minigames, the unsettling environment, they all work together to create a narrative that lingers in your mind, long after the game is over. It's a story about loss, about innocence corrupted, and about the darkness that can hide behind the most cheerful of facades. When FNAF 2 released, it took the world by storm. It wasn't just another sequel, it was a bold reimagining of what a horror game could be. It was also a prequel. By removing the doors and adding new, more complex mechanics, Scariest pushed the players to adapt, to face their fears head-on. The game's lore, filled with cryptic messages and hidden minigames, added layers of depth that could encourage exploration and theorizing, and creating a community that was as dedicated to uncovering the truth as they were to surviving the nights. But what truly sets FNAF 2 apart is its ability to create a lasting sense of dread. The animatronics, with their twisted designs and unpredictable behaviors, are the stuff of nightmares. The game's mechanics force you to confront them in ways that feel personal, intimate, and terrifying. Every flick of the flashlight, every moment spent winding the music box, is a reminder of just how vulnerable you are. And it's in that vulnerability that the true horror of FNAF 2 lies. Although FNAF 2 didn't have the impact on the horror genre as FNAF 1 did, it still paved the way for a new wave of indie horror games that focus on atmosphere, tension, and minimalistic mechanics. It proved that you don't need complex graphics or a massive budget to create something truly terrifying. What you need is a deep understanding of fear, how to build it, how to sustain it, and how to leave your audience with lasting impression. FNAF 2 did all that and more, setting a new standard for horror games to come. As the lights go out and the screen fades to black, we're left with the echoes of what we've experienced. FNAF 2 is a game that challenges us, not just to survive, but to understand, to delve into the shadows and uncover the truths that lie hidden within. It's a game that reminds us that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones we create ourselves, in the dark corners of our imaginations. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the heart of FNAF 2. If you've enjoyed this retrospective, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of horror gaming. And remember, the night may be over, but the fear never truly fades away. Until next time, stay safe.